afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. We're off here to an exciting 1 vs 1 on the road to Kharkov. In the northern half, we shall be having Stephenn fighting for the Soviet Union, for the glory of Comrade Stalin and socialism. Holding the lines here for the 25th Rifle Corps as forces under Deta here, leading elements of the 5th SS Panther Division Viking. Charges ahead here with the Oberkommando West. Stephenn's got guard rifle tank hunter tactics and terror tactics here. All infantry bullets versus Deta with elite armored. Special operations and Luftwaffe ground forces. Also a larger amount of machine gun bulletins here for increased accuracy but also increased reload, which also, by the way, allows them to switch windows faster while inside buildings. Little fun fact there. And finally, we got complete disregard for safety. So a bit more mix there for Deta. Rapidly going towards there, securing territory here and there. Additional folks coming on the way. We're noting Stephenn on the other hand going for several conscripts here, going straight for the fuel point. So in that regard, players more or less mirroring each other. In a sense, though, slightly different sort of order for the points. But beyond that, nothing serious to truck remaining here in the base. So, up far.
This is it.
Plenty of conscripts there arriving for Stephenn of Australia. Socialist Australia. But either way, so far no engagements, and we've in fact got a pretty quick battle group headquarters up here for Deta. Normally you'd expect it, you know, a bit later, at least get some more troops out in the field, or Kugelwagen, but in Deta's case, very rapid choice of the battle group headquarters. And then following up with a Luftwaffe ground forces choice here, receiving additional elements of support from a nearby Fallschirmjäger Company. There we go, conscripts running straight into here to the Volksgrenadiere, shots fired. The conscripts are rapidly falling back, conscripts moving up at the same time. No, the actually receiving cover from here's the cut, and that's actually a wooden cut, so in that regard the conscripts, except for Yuri here, who's taking his fat ass out, will overall have the advantage. The guts jump on it, joining him, got another Volksgrenadier squad moving in, got a third Volksgrenadier squad finally on the way as well here. Conscripts, running back here. Note, by the way, how Stephenn rapidly falls back. Hoorah! Away! But not too suspiciously fast, so he gets shot for treason. But up behind the line there, heavy cover there, where there's also a lot more sort of open ground, so it's harder for Deta here to advance up towards them, or him, and that also sits over another conscript here to cover this, essentially creating a smaller kill zone there. So nicely done there for Stephenn. Nice reaction. Another minor engagement up here by the victory point. Got comms being assaulted by the Volksgrenadiere. Left flank now also being secured. So in fact, also got some sandbags there, but overall he's already managed to secure all 3 victory points here. Got a 4th conscript squad there. Of course, Deta with his battle group headquarters that way delayed any further sort of additional units. Not trying to say there before that, but anyways, he will not quite have the same unit player since he will certainly giving Stephenn there a bit more ground. Of course, he can sort of charm that around later on, maybe. But meanwhile, Stephenn having pushed down, he's actually getting a bit caught off guard here, as we do see that Deta is charging up here through the centre, nonetheless. And Stephenn does not possess the forces to actually deal with that. We also got a quick grenade there. And now we've got an MG34 here moving up here for Deta. Schnell! Wo sind die Maschinengewehren?
A sector has been cut off.
Volksgrenadiers are moving up, coming up for the conscripts. Not quite well there, but he could of course quickly vault over. Sandbag fighting position here as well. So Stephenn making good use of those, by the way, to create heavy cover. There's otherwise actually very little. Not a bad idea, but there we go. We in fact got some mines going down here. Deta making an aggressive move here for the cut upon also, and then mining the spot here. Good job. Gutes Arbeit, Leute. And of course, Stephenn's effort here to sort of do the same. It's now going to encounter some larger resistance here as the MG34 sets up, and he neatly sets up, gunning down those Kommunisten. Generally, the actual machine gun team, while we're having machine gun, the rest of the crew would actually not be equipped with rifles. I generally believe they'd either have pistols or nothing else really in most cases, since they're more there for lugging around ammunition and helping such. So, little fun fact. Also, technically, a full machine gun team was actually supposed to be 10 men, but as the war progressed, of course, manpower shortages became what they were. Men were actually starting to wedge those to the other frontline units, and generally they were actually about 4 men, so little fun fact there, little fun fact. So it's not actually off the mark here, unless you're working on the assumption that the German army had full manpower at all times. In the late war, anyways. Comes they're being run off by another MG-34 they're attacking here. So he's got 2 MG-34s at 3 forces and Sturmpioneer unit. Support weapon company here arriving for Stephenn. Was yet to choose a doctrine. Guard rifle could work out. Nope, he actually goes for Deta. The Deta of Stephenn of Australia.
We are losing supplies to the enemy.
And we got a 4th Volksgrenadier unit there on the way for Deta. Immer mehr Infanterie. Schnell vorwärts. Units hanging about there seem like going to ambush someone. We got an MG-34 setting up here. In theory, it's a nice idea. The only problem is there's a door pointing this way. So that rather sort of undermines the entire effort. Ja, we'll shoot those Russians. How? We can't shoot through the door. We can't? Nein. The game developer says we can't. Ah, scheiße. Not again. Nice positioning by the way, rather difficult to flank, although in theory it can happen if, say, we have a unit attack from here drawing the fire, then another one rapidly sneaks up. This MB-34 could actually be in a bit of trouble. At the very least, you should consider maybe some barbed wire this way to sort of further fortify, cover up that angle. Well, there you go. Conscripts flanking in there. And there you go. Hits just as... Oh, nicely done there. Forces it to sort of set up because he has to react. So right here we see that his son is rolling up. We already got here. Deta's right for a spare Panther quarters. And that will actually cover up the points and make it very difficult for Stephenn to do anything there. So nicely conducted there by Deta. Stephenn now actually a bit on the back foot, having lost his viewpoint. And of course we've got the MG-34 in theory covering. I mean, he can still pop up and set up, but I mean, there's a chance he might get Molotoved and pushed off the field, or for that matter, rushed by some shock troopers and get a grenade to the face.
Grenadiers ready. Grenadiers ready.
So large engagements here across the front, and there we go, going for the point. MG-34 realizing, yeah, they can't shoot through the door, quickly popping out the door and setting up to deal with those pesky Russians. But at the same time, we got Stephenn here launching a quick counter-attack with the shock troops on the flank. Grenade goes off, doesn't quite land well, and the MG-34 crew does manage to escape here the cold grasp of the Soviet army. Sturmpioneer charging in the conscript could actually stop up, to sort of try and support their friends a bit more. Probably Molotov going off. Shock troops arriving here. Sturmpioneer's forced to run through the fires. Looks like they might be able to escape here. Stephenn was not able to sort of really deliver a good punishing blow there to Deta, but over here, 8 minutes into the game, we got 3 doctrines. Terror versus Luftwaffe ground forces. Certainly 2 rather different doctrines. Cutting ahead, and there going into a smaller infantry force. Quickly locking down the conscripts before sending them running, while we've got another unit being held down by the conscripts as well. The heavy cover making it very difficult for Deta to assault here. There's a little bit of lighter cover as well, but not unless his opponent will always be in heavy cover. So unless he can get close here, which will require him to sort of move up here, which can be a bit tricky for some players to pull off and then get off a grenade. I mean, and in that regard, he could still find himself cut off by a Molotov. Looks like Deta's launching a more larger assault up the right flank, giving up the left flank so far to the Russians for a bit up here. And there we go, the first unit running here for the Sperrpanzer quarters. No intention of a looks, instead getting the Obersoldaten, the veteran SS-Truppen from the actual battles of Kharkov, of which there were 3 actually, in which the Russians generally always were given a rather thorough beating. In the end, the Germans had to pull back from it though, as they were being overwhelmed more on the front strategically. Countries down south though running into some troubles, MG-34 opening up. 5th SS Panzer Division Viking had originally actually volunteers from Scandinavia, Danes, Norwegians, actual Finns as well. Though later on it was decided actually to switch this over to another division, the 11th SS Panzergrenadier Division Nordland. Although even then elements actually remained in the division. We've got man engagement over here. So little fun fact there, even as there were more elements there, in the Nordland there. With still some Danes and Norwegians, for example, hanging about. The Finns still pulled back their contingent though, and that never really sort of came back. But little fun fact there, little fun fact there. MG34 versus conscripts. And we got conscripts taking here towards this element as well. Things a bit upset. Oh, and MG35 got cleared out there. A bit of a loss there for Deta, handing on what is his Maschinengewehren. So die Russen. And there you go. We got the Obersoldaten advancing there with their own LMG-34. Scouting the battlefield for any Russians or communists or anything that looks suspiciously communist. And we got Stephenn here going for a tank command. Of course, with his doctrine, he can't rely on any doctrinal armour. And well, he's got the KD, but that's not certainly something you try to rely on. Well, if you're insane, you might try, but Stephenn isn't exactly that type.
Ready weapons.
No attempt, for example, maybe augmenting the Obersoldaten with some Fallschirmjäger. A bit of mix of elite infantry, and there you go, mine went off. This team having quite a nicely mined inch enough. Oh, he's apparently also laid some down here. No, that was the rifles flying all the way, but he could also mine here. That would also be a good spot. Mines here and here would also be good for Stephenn. Less good for the Germans, obviously. Deta, though, making good counter progress here. Ooh, forgetting about a point there. We got the MG34 covering here. He could, for example, consider laying down some sandbags to place the MG34. He wants to cover this area a bit more properly. And of course, Deta could consider having his Obersoldaten lay down some booby traps. So that way make it more difficult for Stephenn to move back. I mean, that's always a good thing you can do with the Obersoldaten. There is something a lot of players tend to neglect, which is a bit unfortunate. We got a large assault here. A bit of a horde human wave assault there going in from Deta.
Ready for deployment.
Forces are sneaking up there. We got combis moving up here from the other flank. Attempt here to steal cash. In this case, though, disrupted by Deta. Stephenn's also flooding quite a bit of manpower. He must, of course, be trying to rush, though. Can actually get a T-70 now if he wants to. Which would overall not be a bad idea. I mean, he's got Panther 6, but all that's all he's got. A well-handled T-70 can look to lock down. He's also got the granate, not a granate, but a mortar there on the way for Stephenn and the Soviet forces. Obersoldaten there advancing, laying down a vicious hailstorm of fire against the Russians. Port's getting secure, and we've got a mechanized regiment going up here now for Deta as well. Could he be aiming for a King Tiger, or is he merely going for it for, say, a fuel boost? I mean, he could be doing that, but overall, I mean, it takes some time before you can do that. If, say, if you want to get a Panther, you're actually better off not getting it, since overall the progress was slow with the fuel you lose there. I mean, it's sort of a bit of a tricky thing to keep in mind, or sort of get something out of. We got Fallschirmjäger here, go straight for the fuel point. Deta here launching a coordinated assault on several points. There they go. At the same time, they got T-70 counter-attacking. Plus, they're coming under heavy fire. Lined up nicely against the wall. They come under fire there from the air. Explosive shells have the T-70 light tank, which did, in the later stages of the war, actually see less and less use. I mean, it saw some, but overall, production had already stopped by then. It was actually being taken over and rolled by the T-34-76 as a sort of reconnaissance tank. So, little fun fact there. Fallschirmjäger there getting spotted. And we got the MG34 in trouble as well. The Obersoldaten. The tiny tank terror has been unleashed. If it can hit. Yuri, they're straight in front of you. God damn it, have you been at the antifreeze again? I tell you not to drink it. It's bad for your health. If the Commissar catches you, he'll shoot you. Getting a field gun there to support. Stephenn, of course, with this realises he's going to be heading an armoured threat. And the T-70, unless it's the Lukes, will not be quite of as much use. Minus there. Both sides being reasonably good here at mining down things, making it more difficult for the other side to sort of move around. You could also maybe consider getting a mine here as well, but still, would I like to see in the booby trap. Stephenn taking up. I could, of course, later on get the T-34. Now, of course, is also the time to actually consider getting that fuel cache up. Although, I would suggest around here to protect the cut-off point a bit better. MG34 pull back here. Looks like we've got a larger assault going in. He's also quickly there, not spreading out. He realises his opponent does have an MG34 coming here, so he's probably doing his best to sort of ensure he doesn't get the advance stopped in one go here. A few well-placed rounds. There you go, spreading out further and launching assault here from 3 prongs on the MG34 crew. He's going to have to get that one out of there. Meanwhile, Fallschirmjäger here assaulting the conscripts. FT4 choose that, but getting caught in Molotov shock troops and conscripts moving in. Center seeing lighter actions as well. But, oh, he's going to lose that MG34 there just as he reached Veteran T1. Silly Stephenn. Mines going down there. Good job, and it definitely looks like here Deta is either aiming for a Panther or a King Tiger. Of course, no, in about a minute as he hits the fuel necessary to get a Panther. I mean, he could in theory try for a Sturmtiger, but considering he's knows his opponent get a T-34 in response, he doesn't have much to cover it, might be less otherwise, at least he should ready it after a Panther. They're going for T up here, MG34 is getting fired at there by the T-70, kills scored. We've got units here sort of coming retreat, there we go! Folks going to this squad, wiped out, dropping behind a Panther here for the Russians to acquire. Definitely not looking too good there for Deta. Though his force is still considerable, and of course can soon be augmented by a Panther if that is what he wills. Smaller, heavily armed combat group heading from the south. And there you go, conscripts run off, quickly suffering several losses. Stephenn still floating with the resources. He should maybe consider fuel cache or something else, something similar. Got anti-tank grenades there. In the meanwhile, Deta's forces continue their relentless advance. Mines going down there. Stephenn definitely not missing a beat to get down any mines, sort of further break up any assault or just cause some casualties. We've got mines there as well. Wonderful, wonderful. Always something good there to note. Also note, by the way, sort of placing their choke points, otherwise narrow spaces at times. So right here, for example, on a broader spot though. But also we can sort of note his opponent will likely move there. So real nice mining there from Stephenn here against Deta's forces. We also got another one there. And straight into the mine there, losing most of the unit. Deta's assault load continues. Volkskongress Fallschirmjägers Obersoldaten. He's redeploying a lot of more elite infantry here versus Stephenn. He's forced to pull back the T-70, so he can't really rush back and sort of do anything about it though, since there's a very high risk of losing it to, say, a good Panzer strike here from Deta Soldaten. On the right flank, we got things being cut down there by an MG34 as well. Oh, he actually senses the counter moving in the... Nope, doesn't. Pulls back. But there you go, shock troops counterattacking the Fallschirmjäger here. And with the PPH-41s up close, make short work there of the Fallschirmjägers. We got mines here close to the other mines. You know, Deta. Ah! Oh dear. That's irony for you, I think. He's actually laying tripwire mounts then with his shock troops. There you go, we got a Panther on the way here for Deta and the 5th SS Panther Division, which actually originally started out as an infantry division. Actually, I think it was less than that. It started out as a battalion of motorcycle troops, I believe, was then expanded into an infantry division, and then a Panzer Grenadier division, then finally a Panzer division. Rather long route there. But there we go. Panther, Panzer. Panzerkampfwagen 5. Stolz der Nation. So far, though, Deta's not making very much use of his stocks. I mean, he could, for example, consider laying down some trenches, tank traps, or flank emplacements to help him cover these sort of more vital points here. Maybe set up some further defences, then he still know it requires certain then resources drawn in from Steam to deal with those. Petermann machine gun there on the way for the Panther. We've got comets moving ahead. We've got mortar crews supporting, trying there to knock down the building, crashing into it rearwards. T-70 moving about. He's actually gotten a second T-70. That's a surprising decision. You don't usually see a lot of men going there for players going for two T-70s versus an overconduit player like that. But either way, damage there on the engine. Looks like a good anti-tank grenade did the trick. Meanwhile, the T-70s just tanked through Deta's troops. Also, no mid-game analysis. You probably mentioned that earlier, but the game is a bit longer, so going to cut off the mid-game for brevity's sake. And there you go, catching a lot of Deta's troops here with the two T-70s, including one Betchy 2 with increased rate of fire and accuracy. Just basically bombarding here the troops, causing heavy casualties, and of course forcing the Panther to, which can't really do much, but still to get over there to at least try and minimize the casualties as the T-70s do their best to run down a lot of the troops. Victory points, by the way, are notably in Stephenn's advantage. More mines could still be needed, though. Not a lot else, though, from Stephenn so far in terms of docks. I mean, he could get a howitzer right now if he wanted. He just needs a bit of manpower. We've seen no focus on fear propaganda artillery either. Then again, he's never really been sort of deeply threatened where he needed to lay down to, say, either break off an enemy assault or cover his own retreat. So beyond that, there's not really much. I mean, he could get a KV-8 as well, but considering there's a Panther on the field, he might want to get some regular tanks to try and help that. So of course, have to see what Stephenn actually does. Got field guns out there. Got two field guns here. We got the Panther moving ahead. I mean, on the T-70, no anti-tank grenade there. Failed though to penetrate. Field gun sadly not well positioned to deal with the Panther. Flare mine went off. There we go. Field gun hit the rear armor of the Panther. Panther sidearm, by the way, was notably thin. And Panther commanders in general were always instructed to keep their frontal armor towards the enemy, as that was the strongest part of the tank. So little fun fact there. Country trying to keep the flank free there. Almost got the opposite. I mean, he got a barrage going in there. Stephenn really sort of launching everything in his opponent in an attempt to break Deta's troops here. Almost done though. Managed to get out there just barely. Another push up the right flank. He generally seems to be fond of sort of launching several attacks. One sort of major assault and then sort of minor assaults elsewhere to basically draw the attention and sort of try and tie down troops from Stephenn, so ensuring he can't just reinforce the main point of exposure. So I suppose that's a good thing to note their little trick as well, though it is a bit trickier to pull off, though it seems like here Deta does possess the management skills to pull that off. Of course, they're advancing, but they are met by a rather heavy barrage of T-75. Now this is actually quite exposed here to a counter-armored assault, but Deta's already on it. Panther moving forwards. And interesting enough, he's now getting a Stuka Sefus. He's getting some rocket artillery like to try and deal with the primary threat to his Panther, which is partly the infantry anti-tank grenades, but also the field guns. So in that regard, it makes sense, though of course it could also just maybe consider going for Sturm Tiger, which could also have done the trick in a slightly more brazen manner. Looks like that T-70 actually got off a lucky shot there on the Panther. Very lucky. Stephenn, by the way, now could get a T-35 if he wanted. He's got plenty of resources. A bit surprising he's actually floating so much. I mean, a fuel cache right now would also be a good move, or maybe a munitions cache instead, or a howitzer. It looks like there we go. Notable manpower drop. I imagine that will be next. And there goes Stukas Fuß drawn to the front lines. And there we go. Stephenn drawing upon his artillery. Stephenn quite fond of the Soviet howitzer, by the way. Generally tries to at least have one doctrine, if not two, that actually possesses it, I find. So, little fun fact there. Also quite potent if you can aim it correctly, of course. Though in general, the howitzers are that. Though the Soviet howitzer does possess a bit more firepower, sort of directly than the German howitzer. Of course, also bigger. Going again for the fuel pole there, keeping up the pressure. There we go. An assault going in, then we got like a launch from the Stuka to Fuss. Mortar field gun cleared out, opening up here for the Panther shocks. We're trying to cover things up here as the Volkswagens move ahead. We got T-70 strike there versus the Southern Obersoldaten, seeing them running, at least showing that part won't collapse. But the Panther still continuing, there we go, bouncing off shots here from the field gun. T-34 finally on the way from Stephenn. It looks like the howitzer is ready to shatter some fascists. I just need to actually begin shooting it. We might two Volkswagen squads there. He's actually getting awfully close. He might lose the T-70. It looks like a combination of Molotovs and Butler just pushing in. Does seem to be paying off. Panther moving in there. We got a Panther wreck. Armor is exposed. Hits engine. And for some reason, Yuri can't seem to fire the damn thing. Terrible, Yuri. Where did you learn to shoot a Panther snake? I didn't. I was just given one. And they go. Howitzer firing. Getting a bit of damage on the Panther. Direct hit on the MG-34, though it still stands and the crew is also still breathing. The other MG-34, though, might soon find himself in a slightly different state. The things as the T-70 opens up, we got the other MG-34 also getting away. No, he drives away from it. He avoids, finishing off. Got the Panther escaping. He could ride an active pursuit there with the tanks, and the Panther's rear is exposed. I mean, increasingly moving into the T-34, knock it out since also at half health. He actually has a brilliant opportunity of knocking out the Panther, but in this case, Stephenn does not pursue, likely because he's worried that Deta's likely drawing up something to cover it, and that way could knock out his T-34, but still, I would have figured otherwise, he might have done it, but, I mean, really, he could do it. But oh well. Fallschirmjäger's run off, forces moving up there, we got a few tanks hanging up here on the left flank. Another barrage there from the Stuka's Fuß, although one rocket gets caught in a tree. Right, he's actually trying to catch some units, but no luck there for Deta's Stuka's Fuß. Also, to note, he's not trading for resources. He is not trading for resources. And there you go, we got the Obersoldaten in there, close getting wiped up. You got the Schwerer Panzer at quarter part, a bit of cover fire as well. And there you go, Obersoldaten utterly wiped out. Stukas was getting away, Panther covering. No, we got Volkswagen to the Panther coming at me. We got a field gun here, pilfered away, and Stephenn lost one of his T-70s there. Rather tragic blow there to the Soviet Union. Artillery barrage going in. Not sure what he's trying to hit there. Oh, he's just trying to cover the retreat there of the... Oh, got the field gun crew there. Direct hit. Well, that seems to be about it. It hits. And there we go. We actually got a push. Assault going in and Stephenn strong point. Luftwaffe assault. Striking from several points there, pinning down the Soviet defenses, forcing away the field gun as the Fallschirmjägers land in the mid. Panther taking up here. Really nicely coordinated assault there, by the way, by Deta, taking advantage of the Luftwaffe assaults. By airborne assault abilities there. Oh, Panther ends up with a heavy engine damage. T-70 up there, field gun, Panther strike out there, all forced to fall away again due to the proximity there to the Stuka Schwerpunkt. Covering the Fallschirmjäger's descent, but they might actually get wiped out here by the T-70. So while in part the assault certainly did its job, I mean it rather missed an opportunity there to retain the Fallschirmjäger. And the Panther itself is also in a pretty bad state, but Stephenn's tanks are not in a condition to pursue it. T-70, Christ almighty, barely got away from that one. But nice again done there. Taking full advantage of the ability to again coordinate a larger assault. Quickly salvaging that and mortar for some fuel. And the Panthers actually, despite its terrible state, are allowed to escape. You could actually be building up for another Panther, even a King Tiger there. That could not be a bad idea. Or he could even get, right now, a Sturm Tiger, which would definitely also have his advantage there versus some of Stephenn's infantry, but also field guns. So, I mean, that could very well be something you could consider getting. Except we're getting Sturm Pioniere. No further armor.
Check weapons. Panzer's ready. Achtung!
Gänsemarsch! Protect the flank! The enemy is reduced to 300.
Stephenn doing his best to force back the fascists. Launching assault. They're gaining veteran to increase in the lethality. You could also pop a smoke grenade if you want it. Molotov there on the Fallschirmjäger force, and they're constantly moving up there.
Grenadiers ready.
And there you go. Ooh, smoke grenade on the Fallschirmjägers, by the way, noting, even if they have to retreat, they're going to have to retreat through the smoke, which gets in the path of the Fallschirmjäger. No! Bundle grenade! Steam's not paying attention there, and go entire countries got wiped out! And then they retreat through the smoke. You know, Fritz, I don't think this was the best idea. But the assault keeps up. And we got Steam there bombarding. Problem is, they've already moved away. So he's just shooting at ground. Dirt. Venting his frustrations, essentially. I mean, in theory, had he tried to at least knock out the Schwerpanzer, CoH2's actually been lucky in being able to get the Panther in the process, but there you go. It's always easy to be clever in hindsight. Victory points are quickly equalising themselves here. The assaults from Deta have managed to push things back in his favour somewhat. He's still got a Panther, he's got more increasingly veteran infantry. He's actually suffered some infantry losses due to the aggressive tactics of Stephenn with his tanks, in particular the T-70 veteran T3. 20 kills is definitely proving rather lethal. Forcing down, he's not going to move further. He knows this Schwerpanzer course. He's just going to do what he can to basically stall any assault to buy time for, well, a counter-attack or artillery to go down. There we go, second T-34 mobilized here. And Deta there is quick to retreat his men. Still no sign of any armor. He can, by the way, not get the King Tiger. Though part of me definitely say he should do it. In fact, if he were to get a King Tiger, he could probably finish this right now. So why he's not aiming for it is, well, beyond me. I mean, with a Panther and this amount of infantry and a Strickers of he should be able to hold the line for just long enough.
We are at 200 points. It's time for action.
Send your orders!
Deta though, in the meanwhile, keeping up the pressure while Stephenn is playing a bit more defensively for the time being. Oh, never mind. Counterattack going in here. And artillery! Being poor Heinz torn apart. Though nothing else it seems. Ooh. Sneaking up here, trying to get behind the Panther. Sneaking up with this country squad there with the Panzerschreck. And there you go, anti-tank grenade in fact. Successfully damaging the engine. Might move up there and get off a Panzerschreck as well. T-34 on the other hand, attacking straight for enemy lines here. Doing quite a bit of damage to the Volks Grenadiers, but actually taking heavy damage in the process. Otherwise, I mean, if they're not being that, he could actually get behind the Panther and knocked it out. Now on the other hand, he's had to sort of worry about getting it. Holy hell, that T-34 got lucky getting out there with the very barest sliver of health. Christ. On the other hand, that's like, what, the third or fourth escape there from the Panther. Another orbital line unit arriving there for Deta. Really intent on getting that field gun crew killed. Stephenn on the other hand is quite intent on keeping it alive. And there we go, we actually got propaganda artillery going down to cover the retreat, ensuring the T-70 and other things that don't get hunted down. Nicely done there by Stephenn. So far, both players have made use of about 3 out of 5 doctrinal abilities. So keeping things at least equal. Keeping things equal.
Standing by.
Panther's also combat ready. It's also very close to victory too, which would definitely give me an advantage in more in assault terms.
Ready!
And a barrage there. He's almost at full pop cap now, but on the other hand, he can't get a King Tiger. So while he's got a ton of infantry, he's rather lacking the heavy armor, which could otherwise have given him, I think, a decisive advantage here versus Steam. Whereas his infantry, while also giving certainly some advantage, at the same time can also be much more quickly cleared away. I mean, in theory, if Steam was to get the pop cap and the resource sword, a single KV-8 could do a ton of damage here to Deta.
Enemy infantry.
Another badass. Very close there to actually wiping out a unit. But got the field gun, which has actually been recruited by Fallschirmjägers rather boldly, if anything, I might say there by Deta, as that is quite expensive. Assault going in there, mine going down, or went down. Deta swinging heavily. We got some shock troops there, quickly flying in, those 16 kills. Quick grenades, he's only could all support, though he needs to stop the recoil. So he's probably quite good there using it. MG cleared out. Leaving behind only one MG there, the other one in fact was completely wrecked, no anything to salvage. Mortars going up there, because your Volkswagen squad lost as well, and another Panther wreck dropped. Stukas well, wrecked the road, but that's about it. Meanwhile, we got the Panther making a straight beeline for the howitzer, silencing that damnable gun that's been harming his troops and support weapons. So nicely done there by Deta. Oh, he overlooked the Panther wreck and he ran straight in front of the Vetri 2 MD-34. That was less grand, if anything, less grand. Trying to deal here with the Vetri 2 Panther loose. And there we go, blitzing away. And then engine damage again. Definitely not having any luck with that. Stephenn, though, despite everything he's holding out in the face of this rather heavy Oberkommando West onslaught, and he's getting a second Panther now. He's still not thinking about a King Tiger, though. I mean, two Panthers could certainly also do well, but, you know, a Panther and a King Tiger would do better. In particular, since currently he's fighting mostly an infantry army. And a King Tiger would certainly help better versus the infantry than the Panther. Not to say, again, two Panthers are per se bad, but, you know, if you've got the option for a King Tiger and you got a Panther to cover it, why not go for it? It would certainly have a better effect as well versus the field guns, where the King Tiger's bigger gun does provide advantages. So I can't help but feel that Deta's not making the optimal decision. Of course, time will tell. Head-on assault there from Stephenn. Rather failed to do much of anything. Another T-34 there on the way. Second Panther rushes forwards as well. Things are definitely about to get heavy. Field guns ready to fast roll. There we go. Panther under 5. We got Obersan trying to clear it. And there we go. We got a bottom grenade off. T-34's marching forwards. We got grenades versus the Obersan done. Almost getting the entire unit. And there we go. Another squad lost. There we got another Panther counter-attacking. The Stephenn armor here being caught between two Panthers. Quite the armor engagement here. T-70 down. And he's actually ramming in one of his T-34, in fact his veteran one. Oh dear. Didn't even get a damage engine yet, only stunning it. Damage engine on the one Panther. That's bad, that is very bad. Particularly since that's a non-veteran one. Well, it would have been bad with the veteran one as well, but at least he's got more frontal armor, which does protect a bit better. And looks like here, Stephenn, he's basically focusing everything on the damaged Panther, realising the other one could still get away easily, but the other one is low on health and with the damage in death. There we go, he actually got a Panther. Looks like Deta might have gone a bit too overconfident. The other Panther on the other hand, nicely bouncing off the shelf, so thanks to Veteran Z2. In this case, again, had it been a King Tiger, I think things would have looked a lot different. Anyways, Panther pulling away as T-34's open up, might lose one T-34 here. Panther, though, almost down as well. The other Panther almost a wreck as well. But there we go, Veteran Z3, higher rate of fire, higher mobility. And quickly getting out of there. Not going to lose that one, got T-34 moving up, but at the same time, field gun stolen here by the Germans and opening up, knocking out the T-34. Heavy armoured loss on both sides, so mostly the Russians there. As so their tanks are left smouldering, or completely annihilated. Now the lost the T-34 in the end to a Panther strike. On the other hand, a KV-8 has been mobilised. Looks like Stephenn has set his sight there on just murdering as much infantry as possible, bleeding out the fascists that way, which could certainly work out. I mean, a Panther without infantry support is definitely going to have a hard time taking any points. So it has a chance of working out, and there we go. Looks like he's about to try and salvage that field gun there. But at the same time, we got the KV-8 moving out. Pfalzmeier gets long to get sorted in the other field gun. There we go. They did get the field gun salvaged, but they dropped the Panther and they all got wiped out. Meanwhile, Pfalzmeier is about to get burned up as well, horribly. Almost getting that Pfalzmeier gun as well. Oh no! Too close to the trees, just basically firing them all up to get wrecked. Veteran 3 MD-34 carrying the western victory point, nicely done there. I mean, he could consider, for example, getting up some flag emplacements. Wouldn't cost pop cap and could also just basically cover some of those points. Would force teams to then divert armor and to tank or something to sort of deal with them. But now it's definitely looking like the time that Deta should consider getting a King Tiger Order Storm so he can eat something else to sort of help deal more seriously with the infantry. And a King Tiger would certainly be one of the ways of doing so. It certainly cement things, I believe. So of course we'll see if that is what Deta does. Victory points really are looking rather bad here for the Germans. And there we go, cleared up the field gun again. Stephenn's only defense, whereas the Panther has been nullified. And another damage engine, the KV-8. Just as soon as it was combat ready, it gets a damage engine again.
It's time for action. We are suffering heavy losses. 50 points remain.
There we go, Veteran 3 Pfalzmeier is leading an assault here on the western victory point. Though Hans was quickly murdered there by Russian gunners, and Jürgen quickly followed on there with a Molotov catching him on light. We've got Stephenn taking in from the right flank, catching the stormtroopers, and we've got a bun grenade there as well, which only does a bit of damage. It does gain them virtually 4, definitely making them very nasty troops and get them back into the fight. Shouldn't be too long. Stephenn, on the other hand, is in a slightly more awkward position here. He's got more forces, that's for sure, in a sense. I mean, numerically. On the other hand, the forces of Deta here definitely a bit more veteran, and in some cases have notably more firepower. And there we go, we got the conscript there to attack the Panther, forcing the Panther back. Quick super about him, breaking off Stephenn's assault there. Gaining back 2 victory points at the very least. The interesting thing, he's using the ones to the outskirts, which also makes it very difficult here for Deta to sort of coordinate the defense. I mean, if he gets hit here hard, he needs to rush units over from there, rather than, again, if he just helped here, you could just sort of place some units here to react here or there. I mean, that's a good thing to keep in mind about a defense. You usually want some kind of reserve in case you happen upon the all-out, you know, in assault, in which case you need to sort of have something extra to put in. It was also usually generally sort of the favoured method of German defence. A small outpost or small very screen guarding the points or whatever divides the sort of front line, and then with a larger serve rate to then react where the assault actually happened. Another damaged engine! Heavy engine damage again! I mean, that engine's seen some damage. And there we go, smoke grenade down in front of it. Well done there by Deta. Well done, but then runs through his own smoke again. Panther coming under fire. We got shock troops here flanking with a Panther trick. Almost veteran C4. There we go, veteran C4. But it won't make it. A hero of Germany has died. And now the Fallschirmjäger is running straight in there to the KV-8. Oh dear, another Panther on the way. Third Panther. Deta desperately holding on here with whatever few men are left. But as every moment passes now, they're in deep danger thanks to that KV-8, and he's got only a single Panther check to stop them. Oh, veteran D4, MG34 as well. So what will Deta here do? I mean, again, he's not really got a lot of defense, even static ones. So at least do something. Quick Striker was Bowser did some damage, gained veterans who won. Tearing out a lot of Stephenn's troops there. Not bad, not bad. Mod Conscript assault there against the MG34 on the victory point. Results in rather heavy losses. And there you go, the third Panther. Rather rare to see 3 Panthers, by the way, from the Oberkommando West. There's certainly also a bit from the Wehrmacht, in particular in a 1 versus 1 either way.
Time for action. Enemy movement! On the flank!
The Fallschirmjägers continue relentlessly. 2 swimming up there, 2 swimming in there. Victory points are going down. Things are not looking too good here. And there you go, straight into the field guns and the Panzerschreck. Fallschirmjägers leading the flank. We got the shock troops moving in to try and deal with the Fallschirmjägers, who are actually a bit too focused there on the field guns. What he actually should have done is actually, oh, he didn't have the munitions for it, and he lost the Fallschirmjäger. He's really bleeding out now. Deta's really seriously bleeding out. He needs to call in more Fallschirmjäger. They really his only hope to sort of quickly reinforce the situation at the front line, to quickly add some more numbers where they are desperately needed. Sturmpioneer on off by the shock troopers. While they note the minefield here laid down by Deta. Quite further. Panzerschreck there on the Panther. He's getting a looks now, all things a looks. I think it's a bit too late for that.
Squad, gather around him. Achtung! Prepare for action.
I do think it's a bit late for that. Oh, actually got off a lucky hit there on the MG35. Might actually be able to get off a Molotov then to clear out the rest of the lot. Oh, they're getting very close. It's eventually found. There go Molotov going off. And forcing it away. Fallschirmjäger getting burned alive horribly. They gain veterans who found in the process. And then they die. It rather seems like game over, in particular as the KV-2 reaches veterancy too. And there we go. Leichte Panzer. Oh, catch of the conscripts are setting up the sandbags. Sturmpioneer supporting. Panther covering the other one. He seems to have completely given up on the center. And they got Fallschirmjägers arriving and going straight for the fuel point. No, he doesn't really need fuel, he needs victory points. He needs victory points. And there we go, left flank can't defend itself against an armoured assault. We got field guns, we got KV-8 and got the T-34 arriving. And the Panther here without a Panther machine gun, and we're getting close, they can't do much as it comes. He actually pulls it back! He pulls it back! What are you thinking, Deta? Vorwärts! But no, he pulls back. 25 points left. Fallschirmjägers launching the assault. T-34 getting behind everything, going to hunt down that Stuka Sufus. But this is very much game over, I would say.
Let's consolidate. We are down to 10 points.
10 points left, 7. 5. MD-34 there close to getting annihilated as well, along with so many other German soldiers. And there we go, game over, a loss for Germany, a victory here for the Soviet Union. Glorious victory, comrades. So there we go. I mean, this was a rather tense battle. Stephenn having some problems there by the mid-game, part I think due to some strategic mistakes I think from him. Also could have maybe used that artillery a bit more effectively, though of course that's a lot more me talking in hindsight there. But he certainly did well with his field guns. The mines also did a lot for him, really slowed down those Panthers. And certainly the T-34 also did a part, though, to a certain extent, though, not quite as much due to the Panthers negating a lot of it. And Stephenn, at some point, flooding resource, never really get amassing a lot of T-34s for dealing with it. The KV-8 was a good choice in the late game, and he really sort of, in part, focused his strategy on sort of wiping out the infantry, leaving the Panther with little support, and overall, in part, that was what broke Deta by the end, simply because he didn't have enough infantry. And I think overall the problems here were Deta basically strategically making some large mistakes, and he should, you know, not just have kept pouring out Panthers. I mean, Panthers are good, it's not that, but at some point you need something that's a bit more, you know, also good versus infantry, and that's a bit where the Panther, I mean, while decent, is not good. He should have gone for a King Tiger or a Sturm Tiger. Overall, I would have said a King Tiger, since it also kept him something versus armor. That way he could probably crush Stephenn much earlier, but again, Deta never did that. He just kept throwing more infantry, and Panthers at the problem. And of course, against Stephenn's part of the strategy, quickly dealt with the infantry, leaving the Panther behind, which was then sort of dealt with by the field guns. So in that regard, you know, Stephenn had a sort of nice counter strategy, and overall, slowly but surely, ground down Deta, who really couldn't keep up that kind of pressure, or withstand the amount of pressure being left pushed back on him by Stephenn. Doctrinally, I think, you know, they did reasonably equally well, although then Stephenn used a bit more than the other fellow. I mean, so that's something as well to keep in mind there. I mean, Deta, I think, could also benefit, and that was also a large strategic mistake. I mean, he kept going for the points farthest away from each other, which also made it difficult for him to coordinate the defense. At the very least, he should actually use his doctrine to sort of lay down some defenses to make it difficult for them to sort of quickly overrun, but it never quite came there as well, so there were some issues there with his strategy. But there you go. I hope you enjoyed this match. I hope you learned something from it. If you did want to subscribe, tell your friends, share it with everyone. If not, you know, send in a replay and find some feedback in the comment section. This is Imperial Dating. Cheers, and thank you all for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye.